Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to everybody. This is a global call, but the majority of people, as you can see from the results now, we have over 77% of the team from the Southern Hemisphere. Great to see Australia and New Zealand really kicking this. So really excited about today's call. And we have our main man, the man in the centre, Mr Ronald Aai, on the call. Ronald, you are unmuted. Can you hear me okay, Ronald?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. First of all, big thank you to spending time with us in this evening. We are absolutely very privileged. I know your time is very precious and it's very limited. And I know that you've been super busy, certainly over the last 24, 48 hours. So I want to make as much of this call as we can, Ronald. This is a fairly new team here with over 120 people on this call, the majority from the Southern Hemisphere. So I want to kick this off, first of all, is looking at Jarvis 2.0, which is coming up the end of the month or very soon. When we talk about the daily rewards, so at the moment we are getting a daily reward based on CTO. Is that going to change in 2.0? And how will that look in our application? Will we still have CTOs and will we have data at the same time in the back office? Can you please share with us your vision on that, please?
Yeah, thanks, Fraser. So basically, the road to 2.0 is to actually get ourselves legalized for the purpose of longevity. And one of the things that me and my team have been discussing on is to how to make this program to be legal for many countries. Because we have been seen in the past as a company that has a ASIC license, but the problem with the ASIC license is our investors need to be sophisticated investors. So basically, it means that you have to start a company in order to actually join the program. So that is how things are being placed for us to actually do. Our lawyers have been advising us to actually do a change on this. And one of the things and one of the ideas that we have actually come up with is to change the model that we have now into a subscription-based service, as all of you might know. So one of the things is nothing else changes with the payouts. Okay, it's because very simple. The subscription is still based on 500 USDT. Okay, and the payout rate is still the same. It's going to be paid out as daily. But the only way to actually get out of trouble is to stop conversions, okay, from the app directly. So we are not able to give up CTOs, which is deemed as a digital asset in many countries. Okay, but at least 30 over countries we are known to be safe. New Zealand is one of them. Australia, Taiwan, and more. Okay. Now, but the only issue with this, we are in already 150 countries, and we need to make sure that everyone is actually being able to promote this app itself, with the least of the troubles. Okay, so one of the ways is to actually go through a subscription-based model through this cloud SIM cards. Okay, so Jarvis 2 itself, when you actually put in the 500, the company will actually take it and do a trade with normal. Okay, and whatever you get back in data, and the data itself can be used in two ways. One is to put it into the cloud SIMs, which is this one, which you can then use it for internet surfing and so on and so forth. Okay. The other is to actually sell it to people on the OTC that needs it. Now, the other question comes in as who will be using it? Okay, Cloud 2.0 is about to have a major change. Okay, whereby we're going to have customers or consumers, and we have the producers, which are the network marketers. Okay, so now the producers are the network marketers itself. When you actually put in 500 in the drivers itself, you will generate data. And the consumers are what we are actually pushing out in the market. Okay, you can get data for a cheaper price if you travel, if you do travel a lot. So we are targeting a lot of this migrant workers and travelers and users from the mainland China and other places whereby most of their internet access is being capped, okay, or being restricted. Our cards itself are actually non-KYC and they have no number. So basically, you remain anonymous in our particular program itself. Same like how our accounts are, there's no way that anybody can trace this on back to you. Okay, but the only problem with that is by using your data SIM card itself, provider, you are actually giving away your information. Whatever chat platform they're using, whether it's WhatsApp, Line, or chat, or Telegram, or whatever else. Most of these are being monitored because they are server-based systems. Okay, so basically, what we are giving out now is SIM itself that is untraceable in many ways because there's no numbers to trace and there's no ownership on this particular card. Okay, so this is the thing that we're looking to. So the first thing is everything remains the same. Okay, when you refer a friend, you get more data. Instead of getting views, you get more data, and
bear with me a moment, Ronald. You've just been, for some reason, you've just got muted. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. You got muted for some reason. Sorry about that.
Can we good now? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Absolutely loud and clear.
So the thing is, okay, everything else is the same. Okay. The Jarvis 2 will give you more data. Okay, and the data itself, okay, can then be used for the SIM card, or it can be sold on the OTC to somebody else to get either CTOs or Ethereum or whatever that you actually want. And now, the CTOs that you get back, okay, you are able to then use it for the MasterCard, or you can actually use it for redemption of our cash coupons, which we will be launching out very soon for many more countries. Now we only have the Grab cash vouchers, but very soon we'll be having cash vouchers for a lot of other things, convenience stores like 7-Eleven and the rest of the stuff. All right, there's about 10,000 over brands that is actually activated, and these are all cash vouchers. One of the ways that you can actually use it. The MasterCard, I believe that many have seen the videos around. We can use it for the metro transport or buying and stuff and other things. You can also use it for the ATM. Okay, so that's another way to actually do a cash out. So these are the things that we are trying to do in order to solve the withdrawals, congestion problems, and the conversion congestion problems that we have with the system right now. The withdrawal and conversions are actually on chain itself, which we have a lot of issues with. Okay, so these are the things that we are actually doing in order to ease that particular portion. And once this is solved, our system is back to normal. So that is what we do to solve the current issues that we're having.
That's fantastic, Ronald. So in terms of the back office, when Jarvis 2.0 goes, just confirm to me, we will have data paid to us on a daily basis. How does one then use that in travel or redeem? Are we going to have kind of two balances, data and CTOs, or is the data, yes?
Yes, you have two balances. You have another wallet, which is the CTO wallet, just like how you have for Ethereum and Bitcoin, which is already now. And you have another one, which is on data. So the data itself, you have a pool of data which you daily collect from the Jarvis 2 program, which can let you transfer the data to your cloud SIM to be able to use it anywhere around the world.
Excellent, because that means that you know, if you pull the CTO to the MasterCard, to travel, to the vouchers, you can still do that, but also use the data for the SIM card. And if you have excess data, you can sell it on ribbons for BTC and later down for fiat on the second phase. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Yes.
Fantastic. That's great. So coming back to the SIM card, actually just one question before we leave that particular area is relative to the deliveries of this weekend. We were all expecting Ribbons and MasterCard to go live yesterday. That's not happened. I know that you've been testing and finished testing this morning. Can you just give us an expectations in when that is likely to happen for the global team?
Okay, basically the ribbons has been completed. The testing has gone well. What we're trying to do now is to add in the Chinese language. But once we actually added in the Chinese language to serve the Chinese community, there were some problems with it. The language used is a bit difficult to understand. So these guys are actually doing the final changes. We're doing the final testing now. If once it's ready, a app update will be sent to Google Play and to the Apple App Store, and it can be downloaded for updates. Yeah, so this is what is going to happen by today. The updates will be quite a lot. Okay, we have now notifications for new feature upgrades and things like this. For example, if the balance of the accounts are less than the qualified amount, you are being notified, and so on and so forth. So a lot of other things are added into this version of the apps itself. Not just only ribbons itself, the SIM top-up will be in as well. The MasterCard top-up will be in as well. So these are the three things are all in.
So excellent. So just to confirm, ribbons should go live at some point today. I would say in the next 24 hours. And MasterCard as well, is that kind of going to go live in the next 24?
We are just pushing that out as well. Because some of the members already have the cards and some were approved. And there are some which have, there are a lot which are not yet. We will be sending out the emails for the pins and things like that. And those that have not subscribed can actually subscribe to it. We're also working on other card providers, for example, like Visa and UnionPay. So we are adding all this in as well, so that whichever country you're in, you will have a backup of these payment cards, so that it's really a global payment system that we're actually building.
That's absolutely fantastic. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you clear.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's fantastic, Ronald. I just want to change the theme a little bit and come on to Cloud SIM. Again, another really important part of the business model in order to get to that 100 million users, and that's the exciting part. We've heard on many calls that we've got two kind of areas, if you like. We've got North America, Europe, and we've got the Asian, including India and Australasia. Can you literally kind of give us a very logical, brief understanding of how that's going to work, and what benefit is maybe to people who are roamers, who are globetrotters that are going to go from east to west and north to south, etc.
Okay, so basically, we are going to roll out many things at once. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we're trying to do in order to actually make it very global. But because of every country has their own legality on crypto, we are able to launch this product in about 30 odd countries. I mean, for the merchant program through our business. Okay. Now, Cloud SIM itself, okay, can work in countries now in Southeast Asia, including India, which just added. And in Europe, most of the European countries now is able to use the Cloud SIM. We are working hard on Latin America. Okay, we will soon cover almost all Latin American countries and the smaller Bahamas and the rest of those countries there. Plus also the South America, we're trying to actually build that in as well. The US and Canada side is already being activated. So we actually cover quite a lot of countries already. And there's going to be two types of cards that will be on sale. The first type of card is actually called the Asian SIM, which is covering the Southeast Asia side. And then the global SIM, which is Europe and US and Canada. So these are the two different SIMs that is coming out. The price of both SIMs will be a bit different. The European side will be much cheaper than the Asian side. So now, if you were to bring your card from Europe to Asia, of course, it doesn't work. Okay, because in order to make it a global card, the price itself will be too unbearable for both parties to actually bear. Okay, of course, that's one of the things that we are trying to build, which is to get what we call country profiling update, rolling update, which means that, for example, I can have a blank SIM card sent to you that only works in, let's say, one country, and if you travel to a next country itself, okay, you can actually pay to activate that one country alone. Then we can keep the cost down to only probably like 20% of what you're paying now. Okay, this is one of the things that the Cloud SIM team is actually working with the provider on, and this is something very revolutionary that none of the providers have been doing. Most of the providers, they just say that no, it covers like 14 countries, and they sell you a package, and they keep selling the cards that will expire themselves. But our cards itself won't expire, and you can actually roll the data, and you keep pumping up the data, and you keep using it anywhere you go. So this is something that we are actually trying to build for and to push forward to. Now, talking about the price of the cards itself, normally when you actually get a subscription service in Southeast Asia, Okay, it would be like probably 20, 30, probably 10 to 15 US dollars a week or so. Okay, now for this cloud SIM itself, okay, same thing like Jarvis. Okay, you only pay once. Okay, of course you buy the cards, then that's about it. Anything else is just Jarvis giving you data. Okay, so yeah, that is how the whole economy is going to be. Of course, on the Southeast Asia side itself, our target audience for the 100 million users would be more on migrant workers. That is in Malaysia, in this Thailand, in Hong Kong, Philippines, and in Singapore. So when you add all this together, you probably have about 30, 40 million migrant workers or so. And this will be our first set of the target audience that we are targeting. It will totally reduce their cost of calls, okay, that they make home by at least 50%. So this is our what we're doing now, okay. And all this are made possible because the members itself actually are churning out, or they are producing enough data for the all these consumers to actually buy and use. Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, I'm really excited about pretty much all these projects, topics within the ecosystem. I know that 35–40% of this call are from New Zealand. So you know what the question is going to be, Ronald. When are you going to have a SIM card for New Zealand? We have to keep the Kiwis happy.
If I'm not mistaken, by the launch of the next batch of cards, it will be available for New Zealand as well. So yeah, it's not a promise, but it will be there. Yeah.
Okay, great. No, that's all we want. Just some indication that they are on the roadmap to be part of the system. So fantastic news. That's great news. 2 SIM cards, or 2 areas at the moment where you can pretty much travel between those regions and so on. So exciting stuff. Finally, Ronald, well, not finally, I've just got one more after this. Let's come on to the future, because, you know, in the last 6 months, you have created an absolute awesome business opportunity for many of us on this call, with very, very exciting prospects of good wealth, utility, and etc. Let's come on to the fact that the game plan, your game plan you've talked about, it's a 3-year game plan, and what benefits that is going to give, not just you and the leaders, but the whole community, the benefits. I think that's the exciting thing for me. If you could maybe just explain a little bit in depth about that area. Thank you.
Yeah, basically the idea is to run with cloud for the next 3 years because of our blueprint, what we have in place. Basically, our blueprint is very simple. We know how to get there, which is to first, number one, through our cloud SIM product itself, reach 100 million users. Okay, through the membership or the partners itself, to sign up 20 million merchants to be able to accept CTOs, and of course CTOs that has been accepted, or the cryptocurrency that is being accepted, okay, by the merchants itself, is actually being liquidated directly in the OTC, which what we are using. Okay, so that itself will give liquidity back to the merchants itself. It's not like the other programs whereby the merchant has to hold on to the cryptos. So now the merchants don't need to hold on to the cryptos. There is a transaction being done immediately through the OTC itself, giving back the merchants the liquidity they need in order to actually run the business. So this is what we have been promoting. Now, the ways to get more wealth is not just only through the trading, okay, which is now giving you back data, and data you are taking out to the OTC to sell it to actually get wealth. The merchants itself, every time when somebody goes there to do a payment, okay, through our system itself, okay, the affiliate or the member that actually, or the partner that actually sign up the merchant itself will get 0.5% of that particular transaction. Okay, that is quite a lot, right? And 1% itself goes back to the merchant itself for facilitating that trade itself, and 0.5% of it we will work with the largest leader in that particular country to set up the after-sales service centers and the customer service centers that is needed in order for us to sell a service in the country. So this is the thing that is needed for us to reach that particular country. For example, like New Zealand itself, we need to set up probably 2 or 3 after-sales service centers plus a sales center, okay, to actually sell these cards, okay. So we'll be working with the leaders on this, and 5% of the every trade from the merchant itself will actually go to all of the centers itself to actually make it run. So the centers itself can be a place whereby members can group together to actually talk, to meet up, a meeting space. You can say something like that, or it can be something like a co-working space, which we can be renting out, okay, to leaders who are trying to actually run their small events there. So these are the things that is going to happen around the world, 150 countries, but we can only start with 30 first for the merchants. The reason why, as I say, is because every country has their own different rules and regulation. Countries that deemed cryptocurrencies are a product or consumable product, we can actually launch it there. For countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand, and Vietnam, we might need an e-money license. And the cool thing about this is we are applying for it in Malaysia, and we already have one in Indonesia. So combined with these two, we're going to go to every country itself to say that, okay, we are not somebody new. We already have done this before. This is our due diligence paper and things like that. We'll apply for it in countries which are most needed for all of these things. So yeah, this is the plan itself to welcome members.
Okay, excellent. And also you've talked about the end game, which is in 3 years' time, moving the business and selling it. So, you know, one of the things that I liked about this, Ronald, is that every online program we've ever been into, they're telling you that they're here for 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and they never are. It never happens. But here, what you're building is a business opportunity where we as the community are all going to benefit when that business gets sold off as part of shareholders.
Yeah. So, of course, at the end of the 3rd year, if we do have what we say we have, okay, we'll be one of the largest MVNOs or mobile virtual network operators in Southeast Asia, okay, and we will have one of the largest merchant networks around, okay. But we're going to have only a small subset of partners, which is only 1.5. We have about 1 million accounts now. I believe that probably our member count will be around, it's maybe 500,000 or so. We believe that by the end of the 3rd year, probably we'll have probably 1.5 million actual members. So in this case itself, all the CTOs that is on the hands of the partners itself will be converted into shares, okay? And what happens then is those are the what we call the shares that will be given out to all the members. And when we actually do a sale of the company itself, the other side, which is the buyer side, will buy this off our hands at a rate. Now, if we are the largest MVNO in Asia itself, well, we are already worth at least 400 plus million. And because of 100 million members itself, okay, we will be worth at least 600 to 700 mil. Plus now we have the merchant network, which is that vast itself. I believe that we can become a unicorn. So if you are worth $1 billion, so that is about maybe PE times three times of our PE currently. So whatever you have, just times 3 for your CTOs, and that's how much you'll get. So, you know, but that is the worst case scenario if you're only 3 times of our worth. If Apple were to come in, and actually Apple is doing the same thing. They are already selling phones around the world, but there's only on iOSs. They already have their own app store. They are coming out with their Apple Pay, and it's being accepted by almost all merchants. Every time when Apple goes into all of these sectors, Google will follow suit, Samsung will follow suit. But Google and Samsung and the rest of them, they will never combine to fight, to join and fight Apple. So now what we have is, we have something that what Apple has as well. We have a payment card system, which is through the MasterCard, the Visa, the Union Pay. We have our NFC payment card system, which is internal loop. We have our own MVNO, which is we are our telco ourselves. We work on both Android and iOS itself. This is pretty cool. The system itself is self-sufficient. We are economically sustainable. It's not like we are burning a lot of marketing money to do all of these things. So, and the best thing is there's no VCs involved here. They're all, this is a community-funded project itself. And who is interested to buy? So, for example, Google would come in and say that I will save time to buy you off. We can demand a higher price. Let's say, for example, if we sell it at about 5 billion, right? So it will be PE times, 15 times to 20 times. So that is about the size of the PE ratio is the size of a good IT company, right? We're not talking about 500 times, 50 times, or anything else. We're just talking about really, really, small numbers here, all right? And this is pretty cool. I believe we will really, really be able to do this because of the model that we actually built. But what we need is a set of members that is able to really fight with us, to really really cut away all the FUD that is being generated by programs or projects or products or from other competitors. But if you look at whatever they have and whatever we have, right, the only thing they can do is just to create fear in our community, right? So that's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, I mean, that is extremely exciting. So, you know, guys, just in summary, you have an opportunity now to create not just wealth, but also utility and savings in the ecosystem using the various products and services that are here now and that are coming in the future. And secondly, a game plan in the next 3 years or so is that your holding of CTO is going to give you piece of the cake on the final sellout of the company. So very, very exciting, Ronald. Thank you. I know I said 30 minutes, so we are coming to that 30 minutes, and I want to respect your time. I have just got one particular area that I do want to cover, and that's communication. I think communication is absolutely essential for any company, let alone cloud. Previously, before October, the communication in Facebook was unprecedented from you. You're very transparent, always have been from day one, and I think I speak for everybody on this call. That's what we bought into, that transparency, that communication. We've gone to cloud chat, and that's been reduced somewhat. That's number one. Secondly, I think, you know, over the last few days with the testing taking a little bit longer, etc., communication has gone out maybe to some of the Asian community and not to the European community. So we're feeling a little bit unloved, Ronald, and we need to be loved.
It's not that we don't love the southern countries or the western side. It's that currently what we are doing is to stop the fear from the biggest markets itself. Okay, that's why we are putting a lot of focus to really kill the FUD in these countries. Once it's moving, then we'll move on to the rest of it. We have a very small team, but one thing good is we are trying to expand our team in every country itself. And we noticed that we can't do it alone. And to do it alone, we need to have a lot of resources to do it. And that will take a heavy toll on us. So the next best thing is why we're starting up a business together with the biggest leaders, so that we can actually have the customer service in country itself to actually handle all the local requests using local language. Okay, this is the thing that we are trying to do. Okay, that will give better communication throughout the whole entire ecosystem for all. When there is merchants involved, okay, even more so that we need a center to actually help and handle all of these merchants itself. Okay, so that is the thing that we are planning now to do. And on cloud chat itself, and on the transparency, it's not that I am not trying to talk more about it, but we have been getting a lot of negative feedbacks actually from the lawyers themselves, saying that we have actually shared too much, and they asked us to actually cut it down. And you know, we have been actively sharing what we've done on Binance and things like that, and see where have that gone us. Binance is giving us trouble left and right, and the rest of the other partners that we're working with actually said that, oh, please don't mention them too much and things like that. So we try to refrain ourselves from actually going out to like Facebook. But Facebook itself is only 10,000 members, okay, which is very little. That is why we actually created Cloud Chat itself, so that we can send the detailed information to all our members. And in that way itself, no outsider itself is able to come in and make a mess. Okay, so that's what we want to do. For me and my team itself, we actively work with leaders to actually post what is going on, what are the events that is happening, the latest news. So we're trying to cut away all the Telegram groups where there's so much of phishing activities going on and things like that. So in order to stop all of this, we migrated, I migrated myself from all this to the Cloud Chat system itself. And I can be found there most of the time, but only these few days whereby we have been actually been busy with launching the 4 updates that is coming out. It's taking a very heavy toll on us, our engineers as well. Some have been here for weeks, sleeping in the office. So today itself, hopefully we can give everyone a good feature launch for the OTC. So
yeah, I think everyone is absolutely behind you and the team, Ronald, absolutely. And I speak for the 167 people on this call. That's absolutely not the issue. And please understand, we're not criticising for the lack of transparency. I think it's more is the right transparency and the right information to everybody in Cloud Chat. I think that's what we're looking for, is not sharing the Binance anymore. That's been done. Well, that needs to be finished with. We, as the people that have been here from day one since April, we have the belief in you and the team. And so, like for instance, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, everybody's expecting, nobody knew what's happening. But that information would have been great to come through Cloud Chat from whoever that would have been a great source for communication, so the leaders and the whole community can say, okay, yeah, the testing is taking 24, 48 hours, a little bit longer, not a problem. So that's all I'm asking is for that kind of communication, if we can.
We will actually be more aware of this in the coming feature launches, which there will be quite some that's coming, especially on the cloud redemption side itself. There will be more providers being added. We're trying to cover the whole of Southeast Asia plus Australia and New Zealand itself. And some of the biggest brands vouchers are all in. So we're trying to do that, and also the ability to get the Mastercards to the hands of all the members is one of our top priorities as well. But the only issue that we have is because the provider itself is in Hong Kong, we are having trouble to get more cards out from Hong Kong to our site because of the unrest itself. Okay, so yeah, on that itself. So we know that there are a lot of other issues that we are facing, of course, on the withdrawals and the conversions. But hopefully, with the OTC out, okay, we settle all the conversions itself, and once it's done, we can migrate our nodes, okay, and we will solve the withdrawals issue as well. So that is our way to really stop all these problems at its roots. Okay, and the competitors itself would have no other rooms for them to attack us with. So this is the thing that we are trying to do. Yes, you know, like all engineering companies itself, there's always delays, which we are we're trying very hard not to miss. But we cannot be launching a product whereby there are holes around. So we're taking this time to actually really launch something that everyone can use. So we're sorry that we have actually slipped our dates again and again, but we are trying, all of us, 57 of us over here, we are working out this, and we are trying to launch it as soon as possible by today. Yeah.
I mean, that's great news. I'm sure everybody's going to be delighted with that news, Ronald. Ronald, we know that we are not perfect. And if we were perfect, it would be a scam. Absolutely. So the fact that it's not perfect means it's real. But we are the best. And we will be the best in the next coming years as we move forward. I firmly believe that. I met you back in May, right at the beginning, and you get a sixth sense. So, guys, I want to thank Ronald for his time. I know his time is very limited. He's a very busy man, and I guess he's a very tired man if he's been up testing all night. We've had 45 minutes of his time, and I absolutely appreciate you being on the call, Ronald. I want to thank you for your time, but I also want to thank you and your team for your vision and all the hard work that you're putting behind the scenes, guys. If you don't understand this guy and his team, they are putting hours and hours and hours every day of the week into this vision that they have. I don't think there's many of us on this call would put that commitment in to benefit somebody else. So Ronald, personally, on behalf of everybody on this call, I want to thank you and thank you for your time. And hopefully soon we'll see you in one of our countries on another call. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Well, guys, there you have it. I think that was a really open and very transparent call. The guy is an absolute genius, as you can see. I think the fact that he's quite open to taking on board our words, also quite open to changing how they are delivering as a business is, for me, absolutely essential. We have what is the best opportunity on the world. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Are we going to have problems and glitches, and are we going to get bumps in the road over the next 3 years? Absolutely, yes, we will. But there's one thing for sure, we are the best, We are the fastest growing opportunity out there. I don't care whether you've been on this since April or May of this year, like the majority of the main leaders on this call, or you've only just joined in the last couple of days from wherever in the world you are. Open this up, guys. You have got a fantastic opportunity as a member of this community. And I want to close this meeting down by thanking not only Ronald, I want to thank you know, our upline team, Kancha, Paul and Matthias, who are absolutely 1000% supportive. And I love these three guys to bits. I really want to thank them for, first of all, showing me this vision, an opportunity, but also supporting this team, the Diamond team, in our adventures. Secondly and finally, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you. I know for some of you it's very late. We have people from New Zealand, Australia, UK, Europe. We've even got our friend Vladimir from Latin America here. Welcome to the call. We appreciate and love each and every one of you. You are in an amazing place. Don't lose it. With that, guys, I want to wish you have a great day, have a great weekend. I know I'm going to, certainly after this call. This call has been recorded and will be downloaded during the course of the day. It's going to be a long download. With that, guys, we're going to see you up there at the top. Take care. I wish you, each and every one of you, all the very best.